It was a calm Tuesday evening when Martha gently kissed her husband goodnight. Harold, a 72-year-old retired Navy veteran, had just finished watching his favorite Western movie. He looked fine, tired maybe, but nothing out of the ordinary. But by morning, Harold was gone. No signs of struggle, no final words, just silence and questions. What happened that night? The autopsy ruled it as natural causes. But as Martha spoke to doctors and specialists, a pattern emerged. One tied to how Harold lived in his final years, and especially how he slept. This video isn't meant to scare you, but to open your eyes. If you're over 70 or care for someone who is, you need to hear this. Sleep is one of the cornerstones of health and well-being, especially as we age. For many seniors, getting a full night's rest can feel like a challenge. Insomnia, fragmented sleep, waking up too early, or simply not feeling refreshed in the morning. These are common issues. But the good news is, some of these sleep problems aren't inevitable. In fact, small changes in daily routines, especially in the hours leading up to bedtime, can make a big difference. As we age, our circadian rhythms naturally shift. This makes seniors more prone to sleep disturbances. Additionally, chronic health conditions, certain medications, and reduced daytime physical activity can all contribute to poor sleep quality. That's why being intentional about bedtime habits becomes crucial. And just as there are healthy things you can do before bed, there are also things you should avoid. In this video/article, we'll walk through 6 common activities or habits that older adults should try to steer clear of before bedtime if they want to improve the quality of their sleep. These insights are based on current sleep research, health studies, and expert recommendations, and they're presented in a way that's practical and easy to apply. Whether you're a senior yourself or someone caring for an aging loved one, these tips are designed to help you make better choices before bedtime and ultimately enjoy more restful nights. So grab a cup of tea, decaf of course, and let's dive into 6 things you should avoid before hitting the hay. 1. Using phones, tablets, or TV right before bed. You might enjoy checking Facebook, reading emails, or watching a bit of late-night news just before bed. It can feel like a harmless routine, maybe even a comforting one. But in reality, your screen might be silently sabotaging your sleep without you even realizing it. The reason lies in the type of light emitted by these digital devices, specifically blue light. This kind of light, though invisible to the naked eye, has a powerful effect on your brain. Blue light mimics natural daylight, and when your eyes take it in, especially at night, it tricks your brain into thinking that it's still daytime. Your internal body clock, or circadian rhythm, gets confused, and the consequences of that confusion can ripple through the entire night. One of the most important things blue light does is suppress the production of melatonin. Melatonin is a naturally occurring hormone in your body that helps you feel sleepy and stay asleep. It's like a built-in signal that tells your body it's time to wind down. But as we get older, our bodies already produce less melatonin. That decline happens gradually with age, and it can make falling asleep more difficult for older adults. So when you add in the melatonin-suppressing effect of blue light from screens, the impact can be even more dramatic. It becomes harder not only to fall asleep, but to stay asleep, and your chances of waking up throughout the night increase. Sleep studies have shown that blue light can delay the onset of REM sleep, the phase of sleep that is most restorative for the brain. It can reduce overall sleep quality, leaving you feeling less refreshed even if you get the same number of hours in bed. And fragmented sleep can affect everything from memory to mood to balance the next day, all of which are especially important to maintain as we age. Rather than letting screens control your nighttime experience, consider making small changes. Instead of using a phone or tablet, try reading a physical book under a soft, warm light. Or, if you must check your device, use the night mode feature or install a blue light filter to reduce the impact. These simple adjustments can help support the body's natural sleep rhythms and allow melatonin to do its job properly. Your brain and your heart will be better off for it. 2. Eating a heavy or spicy meal too late. Harold had always loved food with bold flavors. Even in his 70s, he never lost his appetite for hearty meals, especially his favorite, leftover meatloaf or a big bowl of chili. It was part of his evening ritual. After the evening news, he'd pop something in the microwave, sit down at the table, and enjoy every bite. But what Harold didn't realize was that his late-night snacking habit might be doing more harm than good, especially to his sleep. As we grow older, our digestive systems naturally slow down. The stomach doesn't process food as quickly or efficiently as it did in our younger years. So when we eat a heavy or spicy meal close to bedtime, our bodies are forced to digest while we lie down. This often leads to discomfort, heartburn, acid reflux, bloating, or a feeling of heaviness in the chest. For someone like Harold, who thought he was simply satisfying a craving, the result could be tossing and turning for hours, unable to fall asleep because his body was too busy working on digestion. It's not just about discomfort either. Scientific research has shown that consuming large, rich meals before bed can have more serious effects, particularly on the heart. When you eat heavy food at night, your blood pressure can actually rise during sleep instead of dropping, as it naturally should. This elevated pressure puts added strain on the cardiovascular system. For seniors, especially those with existing heart issues, that increase in nighttime blood pressure is a warning sign that shouldn't be ignored. Fatty meats, fried foods, spicy sauces, or meals high in sodium may taste satisfying at the moment, but they come with a cost. The body struggles to rest when it's focused on digesting, and the quality of sleep inevitably suffers. Even if you manage to fall asleep after a big meal, it's often a light, fragmented kind of rest, leaving you groggy and irritable in the morning. A better approach would be to allow your body the time it needs to wind down before bed. Ideally, your last full meal should be at least 2 to 3 hours before you turn in for the night. That gives your digestive system a head start. If you find yourself genuinely hungry closer to bedtime, a light and easy snack, such as a banana or a few almonds, can take the edge off without overwhelming your system. The goal isn't to go to bed hungry, but to avoid going to bed stuffed. Giving your body this space can significantly improve sleep quality and reduce nighttime health risks, especially for the aging heart. 3. Drinking too much water or the wrong kind of beverage. For Margaret, her evening routine always ended the same way. A big glass of water by her bedside. At 73, she took hydration seriously, especially since her doctor once reminded her that staying hydrated was important for her joints, skin, and even her memory. But what Margaret didn't realize was that her commitment to drinking water late in the day, while well-intentioned, was quietly stealing hours from her sleep. Waking up once or twice a night to use the restroom may seem like a minor inconvenience, but for older adults, it's one of the most common causes of sleep disruption. The condition even has a name: nocturia. It affects millions of seniors and leads to frequent awakenings that break the natural rhythm of rest. The real danger, however, lies not just in the sleep itself, but in what happens when seniors, still half asleep, have to navigate dark rooms and unsteady floors to get to the bathroom. For someone like Margaret, who already struggled with balance, that late-night trip could easily become a serious fall risk. But water isn't the only culprit. Many seniors don't realize that what they drink matters just as much as when they drink. A warm cup of tea in the evening sounds lovely, until you realize it contains caffeine. That same hidden caffeine lurks in surprising places like chocolate, certain sodas, and even decaf coffee. Caffeine is a powerful stimulant, and it can remain active in your system for 6 to 8 hours, which means that even an innocent cup of coffee at dinner time could keep you tossing and turning well past midnight. And then there's alcohol, a trickier topic. A glass of wine might feel relaxing. It might even help you fall asleep faster. But science tells a different story. Alcohol interferes with REM sleep, the deep, restorative stage of the sleep cycle, and often causes fragmented rest. You might fall asleep quickly, but chances are you'll wake up multiple times during the night and feel groggy in the morning. If sleep matters, and for older adults it absolutely does, then evening hydration needs to be managed with care. That doesn't mean cutting out fluids entirely, but it does mean being mindful. Try to taper off liquids in the last 2 hours before bed. Make your final beverage of the night something gentle, like a warm, caffeine-free tea. Chamomile or rooibos are great choices. And even if you don't feel the need, Always use the restroom right before lying down. These small adjustments can make a big difference in both the quality of your sleep and your overnight safety. 4. Letting stress and worry control your mind. Worry is a quiet visitor, but at night it can become deafening. For many older adults like Harold, it's not the aches or the creaky knees that keep them awake, it's the thoughts. The looping, nagging worries about money, family, or whether their health is slipping just a little more each day. Harold never talked much about the burden he carried, but Martha, his wife of over 50 years, could sense it. That night, just a week before he passed, she found him sitting at the kitchen table after dinner. Papers scattered everywhere. He was balancing bills, his glasses sliding down his nose, sighing in that quiet, resigned way he did when something weighed on him. "I just don't want to be a burden," he said softly, not quite meeting her eyes. Stress like that doesn't just affect your mood, it affects your body in ways many people don't fully realize. Chronic anxiety leads to elevated cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone. And cortisol has no business being in charge at bedtime. It keeps the body alert when it should be winding down, makes the heart beat faster, raises blood pressure, and interferes with the production of melatonin, the very hormone we need to fall asleep. For older adults whose systems are already more sensitive and less resilient than they once were, the impact is even greater. Nights filled with overthinking, regrets, or future fears often lead to restless tossing, shallow breathing, and fragmented sleep that leaves one more tired in the morning than the night before. And over time, poor sleep creates a feedback loop. Fatigue amplifies stress, and stress continues to rob sleep. But there are gentle, effective ways to shift that energy. Some seniors find solace in journaling, just a few lines each night to focus on what they're thankful for, no matter how small: a warm blanket, a visit from a grandchild, a blooming rose outside the kitchen window. Others find peace in structured breathing, slow inhales and longer exhales that tell the body it's safe to let go. And sometimes what the mind needs most is simply to speak. Whether it's a trusted friend, a therapist, a member of the church, or even a late-night phone call to an old companion, speaking the worry out loud often shrinks its power. Sleep is not just a luxury in your later years, it's a healer. But it can't do its work if stress is left in charge. So when you lay down at night, try to leave those worries outside the bedroom door. You've carried enough in this life. You deserve rest. You deserve peace. 5. Sleeping in an overheated or stuffy room. Martha always remembered how Harold liked to be warm. He'd spent decades working outdoors, through winters, through storms. So after retirement, he treated warmth like a reward. In the evenings, especially in the colder months, he'd shuffle around the house in thick socks and a cardigan, making sure the bedroom heater was set just high enough to take the edge off. But as comforting as it seemed, all that heat wasn't doing either of them any favors when it came to sleep. Many older adults, just like Harold, become more sensitive to cold as they age. Thinner skin, slowed circulation, and reduced muscle mass can all make a 68-degree room feel like a fridge. It's natural to want to compensate with extra blankets, flannel sheets, and a space heater humming through the night. But what's cozy to our senses may not be what's best for our bodies. The truth is, our bodies rely on subtle temperature drops at night to signal the brain that it's time to rest. A cooler environment helps lower core body temperature, a key step for entering deep restorative stages of sleep. When the room is too warm, above 70 degrees Fahrenheit or so, your body struggles to regulate itself. You might fall asleep just fine, but wake up feeling groggy, sweaty, or parched. Or worse, you toss and turn without realizing it, robbing yourself of the REM cycles your brain needs to stay sharp. And then there's the air itself. In older homes especially, a sealed-up room with no fresh air can become stale quickly. Without circulation, carbon dioxide levels rise, oxygen drops slightly, and you may end up breathing less efficiently during the night. This isn't just about comfort, it's about health. Oxygen plays a direct role in brain function and heart stability while you sleep. Poor airflow can lead to headaches, shallow breathing, and even minor arrhythmias in people with existing heart concerns. Martha had started noticing the signs in Harold. He'd wake up clammy and unrested, no matter how early he went to bed. One night, on a whim, she cracked the window open just a little. The air felt crisp but not cold, and by morning he said he'd slept better than he had in weeks. It was a small change, but for older adults, those small choices can make all the difference. Choosing breathable bedding, layering instead of overheating, letting in a bit of fresh air. These aren't just comfort measures. They're investments in better sleep, better mornings, and better health. Sleep isn't just about closing your eyes. It's about giving your body the right environment to truly rest. And sometimes, the best thing you can do for yourself is to let the night air in. 6. Skipping a nighttime routine. In the years after her husband passed, Eleanor often found herself falling asleep in her recliner, a paperback book still open in her hands and the TV humming in the background. She didn't think much of it. After all, wasn't retirement supposed to mean freedom? No schedules, no alarms, just doing what you want, when you want. But after months of restless sleep and groggy mornings, she began to notice a pattern. Or rather, the lack of one. It turns out routines aren't just for children. They're for anyone who wants to sleep well, especially older adults. While kids are gently guided through bath time, stories, and tucked-in goodnights, seniors often abandon structured evenings, not realizing how much the body still craves rhythm and consistency. Your brain needs signals to understand it's time to shut down for the day. Without them, it's like expecting a symphony to end without the final note. Our bodies run on an internal clock, known as the circadian rhythm. This rhythm tells us when to eat, when to be alert, and when to sleep. But without consistent cues, like going to bed at the same time, turning down the lights, or doing the same calming activity each evening, that rhythm can become erratic. One night, you fall asleep at 9 p.m., the next you're wide awake until 1 a.m., and suddenly you feel like your body and mind are out of sync. Eleanor eventually created her own little ritual. She'd brush her teeth, make a cup of herbal tea, and read one chapter from a book, not on a screen, but a real paper-bound book with a warm bedside lamp nearby. She didn't rush through it. These small acts, repeated each night, became a message to her brain. It's time to rest. Over time, her body responded. She began falling asleep faster, waking up fewer times in the night, and feeling more refreshed in the morning. Nighttime routines don't have to be complicated or time-consuming. In fact, the best ones are simple, predictable, and gentle. Whether it's listening to calming music, stretching your legs, saying a quiet prayer, or even writing a few lines in a gratitude journal, the point is to wind down with purpose. Routines offer comfort, and comfort is often the missing key to deep, restorative sleep. No matter your age, your body still appreciates rhythm. So don't skip the little things. They're what turn a good night into a great one. Martha says she wishes she had known more about sleep in Harold's final years. Maybe things wouldn't have changed, but maybe they would have. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a form of health care, especially as we age. So ask yourself, are you doing everything you can to protect your nights? Because protecting your nights protects your days. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more health tips, and share it with someone you care about. Stay well, sleep safe, and we'll see you in the next video.